Saita.
Siyum Hilchos
Mishamesh rabbi Yechanan Botla Chachma. The Mishnah says that when Rabbi Yechanan passed away, there was no one was considered a Chacham anymore. Turn up on him. Mishamesh rabbi Eliezer Nikna Sefer Torah, because he knew the Messiah from before, and then no one was like that. Mishamesh rabbi Yeshua Botla Eitza Machshava. Mishamesh rabbi Kiva Botla Zoye Torah V'Nistatmu Mayonis HaChachma. Mishamesh rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Botla Kodesh Chachma. The crown of Chachma was Nispatel. Shateres Chacham Ashram, because the crown of Chacham is their wealth, and he was very, very wealthy. Mishamesh rabbi Chanina ben Doisa Botla Anshe Maisa. When Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa passed away, there was no longer any Anshe Maisa. Mishamesh Abba Yosi ben Katunta Botla Chasidim Lamed Krishma, and from the lesser of the Chassidim. Shemesh ben Azai Batu Hashakdonim, Shemesh ben Zayim Batu Hadarshonim, Shemesh Rabbi Shimon Gamaliel, Allah Gevai, the locusts came up, Rabbi Tzoris, and there were many Tzoris by Yidden. Shemesh Rabbi, when Rabbi passed away, Hukfulu Tzoris, the Tzoris were doubled. Shemesh Rabbi Batla Nova, V'yiras Chet. It says in the Mishnah, when Rabbi was passed away, there's no more Novim and no more Yiras Chet. Amalei Rabbi Yosef Latano, Loi Tisni Anova, the Ikano. He said, don't teach that there were no more Anovim, because there was me, and I'm a big Anov. Amalei Rav Nachman Latano, Loi Tisni Yiras Chet, Ikano. Don't say that there's no Yiras Chet, because there's me, I'm a big Yiras Chet. And the Rebbe explains this very well, but in Kanamakim. Han Allah, Egla Rufa, Vaslikala Masechta Seita. Han Allah was the Seita, Han Allah, Dad Allah was the Seita, Dad Allah was this Shem Enoch was the Seita, this Shem Enon, Lebam, Lebam, the Osi, Han Allah was the Seita, Han Allah was the Seita, Dad Allah, this Shem Enoch was the Seita, this Shem Enon, Lebam, Lebam, the Osi, Han Allah was the Seita, Han Allah, Dad Allah was the Seita, Dad Allah, this Shem Enoch was the Seita, this Shem Enon, Lebam, Lebam, the Osi, Rosh Hashanah, Hashem, and the Senu should hate the Rosh Hashanah, the Senu, when the Mazur see Manu Lema. Kanai bar Papa, Rami bar Papa, Nachum bar Papa, Achi bar Papa, Abu Mori bar Papa, Rafim bar Papa, Rachish bar Papa, Surcha bar Papa, Adar bar Papa, Dar bar Papa, Harav non Elenu, Divris Ras Mafinu, V'Fiyah Samcha V'Yisrael V'Niyah, Kolon Anach V'Yisraelu, V'Tzatzei Yamcha V'Yisrael, Kolon Yidish Mechel Yidish Yisrael Shema, Me'evis Chachmenis V'Tzatzei L'Elam Hili Yidiv Salom V'Chukach Mal Yevish V'Elam Yishkach V'Kudacha, Yivam Chiyisani V'Nach Atah N'Elam D'Nech Chukach, Amen, Amen, Amen Salavad, Meid V'Nach Nach V'Nach N'Elenu, L'Hevisenu Shesamta Chalkenu V'Yesh V'Beis HaMedrash, L'Samta Chalkenu V'Yesh V'Kronis. Shanu mashkim v'hem mashkim, anu mashkim v'teir v'hem mashkim v'dvar v'teilim, anu amelim v'hem amelim, anu amelim v'kam l'sachar v'hem amelim v'hem v'kam l'sachar, anu ratzim v'hem ratzim, anu ratzim v'chaim haba, v'hem ratzim l'ver shachas, shenamar v'atal him teirim l'ver shachas, anu shadam v'hem l'yachsim v'hem aniach nachbach, yiratzim l'fanachal, anu l'hagishem shazatan l'saimim of the Seitik, and the Zin the Haskell Sachtas the Svarim achinim l'saimim, Lilmad l'lam l'ishar l'las l'kamis kol divrei salom to the sachar v'yav l'zchus kol t'nevim v'merem v'tzalmid ha'chacham yam l'li l'zarish l'samar sh'ateirim Zari, Adelim, Siskayim, Beavis, Allah, Khatan, Khaysak, Shako, Tishmar, Allah, Vakitsa, he, Sisti Sacha. If you hear Yamach, we see the Hashem, Skayim, Menachem, Minus Menach, and the Uzlam, Yit, and Yavakasam, Vasholim. Someone else has said. I don't say it. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Yeah. Amen. Amen.
What I want to ask you? Is that
What?
So Rambam holds there's a certain area this high in Trumas Masis Midiraisa.
Midiraisa, no, not Bisman Hazeh.
Oh, even though there was a
Still, the Chazak is not Kibush, and you also need the Rambam writes in Hilchos Beis that you need Kol Yisrael, Sholom ber Yisrael. You need all the Yidden living in Eretz Yisrael. So today, according to the Rambam, Hilchos Beis is complete the Rabban.
Oh, entirely. And Shemitah.
Shemitah is even more than that, yeah, because Shemitah also depends on Yevelis. Yevelis also depends on the fact that Yidden live in Eretz Yisrael, and all the Yidden live in Eretz Yisrael.
Okay, so there is a small group, and other Rishonim hold the silver.
Well, yeah, the two holds it today, but the today Tumas and Maisres are the Reise.
No.
Yeah, and the Tosfos also holds like that. There's actually a prominent opinion that says today is ultimately Raisa. But we don't pass like this. We rely. Okay, so actually, the point I wanted to bring up, following yesterday's shir, there is machlekes rishonim whether or not today it is the Raisa or the Rabbanon, Trumas U'Maisres. Chal is the Rabbanon. Seems that everybody agree with it. Trumas U'Maisres, it seems there is a machlekes rishonim. According to the Rambam, we rely on the Medrash and Midrash Rus and a Yerushalmi that they hold that it is the Rabbanon. And since the destruction of the first Beis Hamikdash and the first exile, since then it was all since Ezra came back to Israel, it was all the Rabbanon. Then there is an opinion of the two that says that no. Now the reason why we say it's the Rabbanon, not the Raisa, it is because according to brings it down in Hilchos Beis, he says you need all the Yidden believing in Eretz Yisrael. If you don't have all the Yidden in Eretz Yisrael, you don't have Natum Yisrael, you don't have Shmitin, you don't have Yevle, so that's it. It's all the Rabbanon. Various halachas, special the Rabbanon, for example, Chala in Eretz Yisrael is not the same Chala like Chutz La'aretz. Therefore, there are also practical differences between Chala here and Chala in Eretz Yisrael. But according to the Rambam, everything at the end of the day is all the Rabbanon. But the tool over there, the Ramah brings down. It's interesting. The Ramah brings down the tool in Siman Shin Lamed Aleph Nireh, and he says that the tool holds that it is the Iraisa, but the Ramah says we don't. That's not the minig. And the source of this tool is opinion in Bavli. It's very interesting. It's actually a Gemara in Bavli in Ksuvas. We had it in Daf Yomi. Those who learn in Daf Yomi, we had it a couple of days ago. Actually mentioned this opinion, and yeah. So, and also there's a Tosfos in Yevomes that says that there is no, the Ri says, it's very interesting, like emphatically, the Ri says that there is no Chochem who would say that in the time of Ezra it wasn't the Erais. He completely argues on the Ramu over here. So the question is, even if you say it's the Erais over there in the time of Ezra, would it still be the same the Erais as today? Would you still say that the Kedusha of Ezra was also in this battle? It's a whole long sugya, many details. Sanagaya just mentioned the Hagah because it was brought up by the Rambam towards the end of the Perek. So let's start Perek Zayin. Back to Hilchos Beis Habechira. Mitzvahs asay leiro min hamikdash. It is a mitzvah asay, just like you have a mitzvah to put on tefillin, you have a mitzvah to fear the place of the Beis Hamikdash. Shneimar u'mikdash tiro. Now, what? To fear, to have fear, to be scared. V'lei min hamikdash ata yorei. Yeah, well, fear.
No, that is war.
That's not fear.
Yeah, whatever. You should not be afraid.
It is not war.
It's I don't know, whatever.
Fear.
The point is understood.
Fear.
Yeah, fear. You shouldn't be afraid of the place itself, of the actual building, the construction itself. Rather, you should be afraid of Beis Hamikdash because of Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's the place for Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's who you should really be afraid of. Yeah. Mimishitzi from Kodesh Baruch Hu. Kodesh Baruch Hu ordered us to be fearful of the place. And what? You should be afraid of the buildings, of the bricks? No, you should be afraid because it's based on Mikdash. It's a place of Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's what you should be afraid.
The same thing applies to Mikdash.
Well, we'll see. There are various halachas there are various halachas. The Hilchos Beis Haknesset that we'll learn from the halachas of Beis Hamikdash, and many halachas that you shouldn't do in both. We'll see soon. How would you express your fear? What should you be standing there trembling? No. What does it mean? How can you express your fear? One should not enter Beis Hamikdash with his walking stick, as in like if you go, those who go like on tracks, they go with their special sticks that help them to hiking sticks. You shouldn't be coming in with those, or with his shoes on his. Yeah. Or in his shoes on his feet. He should take them off. Or with his what's it called? With just the lower coverings, meaning, for example, just with a t-shirt without his jacket, for example. Yeah. Or coming in with dangling with coins, with a special sack of coins dangling around, making noise, showing disrespect to the place. And it's the Rambam says, I don't even have to mention that you are not allowed to spit anywhere in the Temple Mount, Elohim nizdam alayroik mavli b'chsisum. What should I do? I have some. I can't. What should I do? So it says, you take a tissue. Those days was a sleeve. Today, what would you do? Take a tissue. Don't spit on the floor. That's what the Rambam is trying to say. Find a place to put it. Don't spit it on the floor. This is the Har HaBayis is not a place for your spit. V'lo yaseh Har HaBayis derech. Additionally, one should not make Har HaBayis turn it into a shortcut. Let's not forget the Har HaBayis was in those days in Eretz Yisrael, everything was not that large. So 500 by 500 it was quite a sizable area, and you wanted to get from one side of Beis Hamikdash to the other side. So you had two options: either cut through the Temple Mount itself because you had gates on both sides of the Har HaBayis, or you should have to go around. Dr. I'm smart. I'll just cut through. Doctor, you are not allowed to do this. This is disrespectful to the Har HaBayis. One is only allowed to enter Har HaBayis only when there is a mitzvah. Either he has to daven or he has to bring a korban or something like that. Har HaBayis is not a playground.
It's not tourist.
It's not a tourist attraction. Yeah. Everybody who entered the Har HaBayis, nichnosin derech yamin, umakifin veyotzim derech smoy. Meaning, let's not forget that the Har HaBayis had gates on every side on every side of it. Meaning, you had gates in the east, you had in the west, you had in the north, you had south. So what do you do? Let's say you enter from the east. You enter from the eastern gates. So it's Shar Shushan Abiro. So what do you do when you exit? You should not be turning left. For example, if you enter from the east, you should not be turning to Shar Chulda, for example. Rather, you should be turning right and exiting through Shar Tedi, was in the north. No, that one's like no. Sorry. You should עד שמגיעים למוקם צריך למצד דורים. איזה דוקלים ביציאות, סמילכים לצד דריימי. עד שמגיעים לשער המזרח. Interesting. Basically, you have to walk around, right? That's what he sounds. I don't know. Someone explained it the other way around. No. I'm correct. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. You are entering through Shar Mizrach. Look, right? You enter Shushan Abiro, right? Yeah. And then you're turning right. So you should not be turning left. That's the idea. You should be turning right. And let's say you want to exit right away. You don't want to walk all around. You exit through the first gate. In this case, if you turn right, the first gate is Sha'ar Tedi. Or if you wanted to get, let's say, to the left side of the Beis Hamikdash, should you turn left? No, you should be going all around Beis Hamikdash to get to the left.
That's Makifin.
That's Makifin, exactly. Let's say you enter like this. You want to get eventually to your left side, you have to go all around Beis Hamikdash together. But only if you had a special cause. Yeah, and like the Rambam will explain soon, what are those causes? The say everybody go to the right. You go to the left. Why are you going to the left? Don't you know you're supposed to go to the right? So he answers them, Shani over. I'm an over. So they tell him, oh, Sheikh Mabai says, Yenachemcha, Kodesh Baruch Hu will give you Nechama. Or he tells them, Shani Menuda, that I wasn't listening to my Rebbes, I wasn't listening to my Chaverim, and that's why they put me in a Nidu. So yeah, that's why I'm separating myself from everyone. That's why you're like good Yidden, you go to the right. I'm not very good, I'm going to the left.
I wouldn't go in.
Yeah. Look, a Yid, Balavera, but a Yid is a dog, so he feels like he has to go to Beis Hamikdash. He doesn't really have a choice. So what do his Chaverim answer him? What?
You go all the way around.
Same thing. If he wants to get to the right side and he enters from the main gates of the east, he would have to go all the way around. Just like those who are regular people will have to go all the way around if you want to get to the left side. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give you some seichel, and you'll start listening to those who you have to listen to, and then it will bring you back. They will cancel the nidui. Yeah, meaning that the Rambam tells us that the Yidden that used to go to the left, they were with a special cause. What was that cause? Either Avelus or Nidui, but for that matter, every other reason that the Yidden would have wanted other Yidden to daven for them.
Just got
So let's say you lost something. You lost something precious for yourself, but you want Yidden to daven for you. Yeah, I actually read something like this somewhere. Yeah. So what would you do? You would enter Beis Hamikdash and you start walking to the left. What happened? Is everything all right? He says, no, I have this problem. So, everybody will daven. Everybody. That's what's the meaning. That was the meaning. Yeah. Exactly. That's how it done. That's how it was done. The Yidden. Right. It's a good point. Yeah, weiter. Okay. Kol sheishnim aveda v'nistalek. Anyone who came to Beis Hamikdash, like we said, for a mitzvah, he brought a korban. It wasn't a lot, but it was like a 10 amos or something like that.
15 feet.
15 feet. That's it.
Somebody wants to go. It started from the right and went all the way around. Behind the base, it's going to wasn't a big space to go.
That's good. I don't know. Again. And again, look, most people who came into Beis Hamikdash. Let me ask you this: you went to Dar HaBayis.
They couldn't go in.
One second. You entered Dar HaBayis. Why did you enter Dar HaBayis? You just told me you entered You can only enter Dar HaBayis for a mitzvah. For a mitzvah, you can't just enter Dar HaBayis. So you enter Beis Hamikdash from Shara Mizrach. Shara Mizrach is the main gate leading to Beis Hamikdash. That's how you would usually enter. So why would you go to your right? You want to go straight. So we're talking obviously about, again, the Yidden used to come into Beis Hamikdash Pasha to daven. Not always to Ezas Noshim. Ezas Noshim is a professional area. People with korbanos come in there. Who speaks about Bechal Das Zorah and all those areas. Only if you had a very good reason you'd come in. But to Har HaBayis is also holy. Yidden used to come into Har HaBayis Pasha to daven. Yep.
And that was large.
What?
That's very large. So there's plenty of room.
So you had the plenty of room over there on the left side. If you're facing Beis Hamikdash from the Mizrach. It wasn't a lot of room on the right, and not at all behind. Right. Kol sheishnim aveda v'nistalek lo. Anyone who accomplished whatever he needed to do in Beis Hamikdash, and now he's removing himself from the premises. You can't just turn around and show your backside to the Heichel. Rather, one should walk slowly backwards while facing forward to Beis Hamikdash. Now, obviously, it says in Shulchan Aruch, the one is not allowed to walk like this. Why? Because he could trip and fall.
You're saying that they're walking around there or in there?
No, around there.
So that's huge.
On the picture, to make it sound look, but the MS of Beis Hamikdash was not exactly
131. That's about 200 feet.
So it wasn't that.
That's good size. That's almost
good. But how many? But don't forget.
But
Don't forget what we're talking about. We're talking about 500 amo by 500 amo. Metrically, 250 meters by 250 meters, and that's not including the space of Beis Hamikdash. So practically speaking, you bring in 1,000 people, you already don't have enough room to walk around.
Fine, but you do. It's not
good. It's not 5 feet, but it's still not a lot of space.
I didn't bring in 1,000 people. I brought 100,000 people.
Yeah, even better. Yeah, right. So the Shulchan Aruch says you're not allowed to walk backwards. Why? Because you might fall. And yet you tell me I can just turn around. So what should I do? Zog the Rambam, I'll tell you how. You walk like half sideways, like not exactly forward, not exactly backwards, meaning you could still see what you're doing. And the Gemara actually describes it like a child that is escaping from his school. He can't just turn around and run away because his teacher sees him. So he's being sneaky. He's walking slowly outside. That's how the Gemara describes, like a child is trying to escape, running away from his teacher's house. Yep. Until he exits the Azor. Once he exits the Azor, he can turn back around and walk as he wants. Like when he steps the 3 steps back after Shmoneh Esrei, and not like those who step 20 of them without looking and hitting everybody on their way. Rather, you have to look what you're doing. This is, by the way, the Malkir. If you watch closely the videos of the Rebbe, you can see the Rebbe looks very carefully before he walks back. Then when he walks back after the Shmoneh Esrei, yeah, the Rambam says it clearly. All these details about how you should conduct yourself in the area of Beis Hamikdash, the first in the Harabais and then in the Azora, that's all for the purposes of fearing the Beis Hamikdash. Like we said before in the beginning of this perek, it's a mitzvah say to fear Beis Hamikdash. When you stand in the eastern gates and basically you're facing the Heichal, even though you can't see the Heichal like you mentioned in the previous perek, but you're basically straight in front of it, you are not allowed to Yokel Roshi. How do you say Yokel Roshi? Be frivolous. Because that gate is right across of a Kodesh HaKadosh, right in front of it. And whoever walks into the Azora, in other words, in the area where the Mizbeach is, etc., Yahalech ben Nachas Mamokim Shemutor step carefully in a place where he's allowed to. Meaning, the Azora, again, it's not a very large space comparatively. So you should better be careful where you enter. There are places where Israeli or Stamach Kohen even is not allowed to enter Stamach. And the Ravid over here says, what's Yahalech ben Nachas? The Ravid over here, it's interesting. Hasagas Ravid, it says, Pirush, what's Yahalech ben Nachas? Pirush, Shelo Yelech derech hedietis. One should not walk like a simpleton. You should walk respectfully. Don't run. You're not in the circus over here. Be respectful. So one can argue that what exactly the Ravid adds on the Rambam. They both say the same idea, no? But maybe you could say that the machlekes over here is that according to the Rambam, walk as you want. I don't care the fashion of how you walk. Just be careful. Walk where you're allowed to walk. That's what it sounds like, because that's why the Rambam says, Yahalech ben Nachas mokim shemutor lo leikonos l'sham. Why does he point it out? If we're talking about the respect that you have to give to Beis Hamikdash, it's enough to say you should just walk carefully, you just walk ben Nachas. Why does it say mokim shemutor lo leikonos l'sham? It sounds like the Rambam is trying to explain to you why you should walk slowly, so you won't enter where you're not supposed to. And the Ravid says, no, the reason why you should be walking carefully is a part of the idea of fearing and respecting the place. Forget about entering the place where you're not allowed to. That's regardless. That's something, it's like you're not allowed to bring a sheret into Beis Hamikdash. It's regardless. You should be walking carefully in Beis Hamikdash and nicely because it's Beis Hamikdash. Weiter. V'yireh atzmai, and while he's walking around in the Azora, that he stands in front of the Master, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Lord, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, my eyes and heart are there all days. And therefore he should be walking around with fear and scared and trembling, etc. That in the house of HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be walking with with emotion, with like strong emotions. Yes, feeling. And as part, it sounds like it's a continuation of the same rules and guidelines of how you should fear and respect Beis Hamikdash, that one is not allowed to sit anywhere in the Azor. Only the kings of Beis David are allowed to sit in the area of the Azora. Shenema, as it says in the pasuk, Vayovi HaMelech David Vayeshev Lifnei Hashem. That King David came and he sat in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That was in the Azora. So only his kingship, his line, his dynasty is allowed to be there. He's allowed to sit there. Vasanedrin Shoyeshim Vilishkes Agozis. You'd ask 1 second. We had the whole 71 people sitting in the area. We had the Lishkas Agozis. What are you talking about? Doctor, no. Lishkas Agozis was like a chamber that was built both on two parts. Some of it was built in the Kodesh, some of it was built in the Kodesh. And the 71 Chachamim used to sit only in the area where it was allowed to sit, meaning outside of the Azor, technically outside of the Azor, not within the Azor itself. Yeah.
So you could sit anywhere else, and you could be a little bit more relaxed.
What?
You could sit anywhere else, and you'd be a little bit more relaxed.
In Harabais, you're allowed to. In Nezas Noshim, you're allowed to. In the Azor, just you're not allowed to.
Yeah, but you can also be more relaxed elsewhere also.
Yeah. Also, let's not forget that there was a special like chambers for the Kohanim beneath the what's it called, the Azor. There were areas, other locations. The Azor is important because it's Lifnei Hashem. It's a special place with the Mizbeach. It's where you makriv korbanos, etc., etc. So that was a special place where you can just sit around. You can just sit wherever you want in the Azor. It's a special place. You want to sit down. Get out of here.
Oh, okay, so but the other part was used.
What?
The Har Beis was used. We know. what-
Yeah, the Har Beis. Yeah, sure.
What was its usage? Do we have any idea?
So, like I said, it sounded like Yidden used to enter Har Beis, Poshet Daven. Used to come around. Used to walk in.
They brought them all up and they left the wife and the kids out there.
Also, it was supposed to the place where the Yidden wanted to come in and see what's going on and be a part of it. You actually entered Beis Hamikdash only if you had a cause.
Right.
Technically, probably not. You could technically enter Beis Noshik for no reason too. It's just probably was disruptful for the day-to-day life of Beis Hamikdash itself. But the actual Har Beis, because people bring the korbanos, bring their stuff, you can't just stand over there. What are you doing here? Get out of here. But Har Beis was a place where there wasn't any avoid over there. Yidden used to come in, Pasha to daven. And that's why some people used to come in, turn to the right and daven, or if you had a special cause, you turn to the left. That's what he mentioned in the beginning.
They made picnics up on Harvard.
I don't think so. But that's what he said. You can just turn the place into what's it called, the picnic area. That's the whole thing about respecting Har Beis. You can't walk with your shoes in. You can walk with your walking stick in. You can spit over there. Yeah, of course. It's a holy place. What the Rambam is really doing is differentiating between two levels of kedusha. You have kedusha of Har Beis, and then you have kedusha of the Azorah. In the Azorah, the special kedusha. You can sit there. Right? Only Melech David is allowed to sit there. You have to walk slowly in the place.
The koisel we have today is outside of
Yeah,
Har
it's a machlek is exactly what the koisel is today.
No, so it's not what it says. All the no's that you're not allowed.
So no, that's not Har Beis.
It's not. I'm saying so it's not. Har
But even if it's not Har Beis, it's still a shul. And these halachas apply to a shul too. You're not allowed to spit in shul.
Okay, so we have a passion.
They didn't die.
So whatever. So no.
They didn't know it's from Esther like we know.
What?
Yeah, they davened. Ezra, after Ezra, they already had Shon Esrei, they had brachas, they had everything.
Look, okay, that's already a different sugya. The davening that we have today was Mesuda by Rav Amon Goen. The davening those days was completely different than what we have today.
Fine. Oh, okay. Fine.
Yeah. Right, let's move. Let's
But
continue.
that's, okay. All right.
Okay, that we already went through. Okay. Even though that these days the Beis Hamikdash does not exist due to our sins, one must respect it, just like in the days when it was still built. One is only allowed to enter in a place where he's allowed to enter, no more. One say it was like, there's no mizbeach today. I could just enter wherever I want. I could just walk into the Azor. Said no, you can't. And again, and one is not allowed to be frivolous while standing in the area of the eastern gate. That the pasuk puts it together. You have to keep Shabbos and you have to fear the Mikdash. Mashmiras Shabbos le'olam, just like Shabbos. Keeping Shabbos is forever. Af meira Mikdash le'olam. You should also be afraid of the Mikdash just in the same mosque, just in the same amount. Meaning, even that even though it has been destroyed, it still stands in its holiness, in its superiority in space. Yeah. While Beis Hamikdash was built, from the mountain of Tzofim, that it says, explain the reason why it was called the Har Tzofim, the mountains of viewing, so to speak, of seeing, is because of spying, is because when the Yidden used to come from the north of Eretz Yisrael, the first moment when they were able to view Beis Hamikdash was from that point, from Har Tzofim. So the moment you come and you see Beis Hamikdash, what now you're losing your head. Yeah, be careful. You have to conduct yourself properly. By the way, I saw there's something very interesting there historically. There's another explanation, or I guess a different explanation, a different application. That's the word for the name of Har Tzofim. That it says when the Yidden were expelled from Yerushalayim, there were no Yidden for a certain period of time living in Yerushalayim. They were not allowed. So the Yidden used to come to Alat Seifim to gaze from there on their place. That's another reason why it's called Alat Seifim. No. It's Alat Seifim. It's different.
I understand, but where's Har Seifim?
That's in northeast.
Oh.
Northeast.
There was still a mikdash?
What?
There was still a mikdash when they did that, or just looking
Well,
at the place?
probably there were still some ruins.
It probably
assuming so.
happened. What rooms were there?
What?
That wasn't the first
Yeah,
Beis
yeah.
Hamikdash.
No. The second Beis Hamikdash. The
That
Romans
was
expelled
plowed
them.
down. There was nothing there.
The first Beis Hamikdash, there was still Yidden after the destruction.
Okay.
Right. And again, it only it's only if I could actually see the Beis Hamikdash, and there will be no fence separating between them. So that's really the
So it's, these days, there's no issue.
because you can't see the Beis Hamikdash.
Yeah. Is that right?
So that's what it seems like, the difference between Harat Seifim and standing in the eastern gate.
But the Rama, I think, is calling into the fact that in his time, the mosque was already built on the area that you're not allowed to be.
So
When he's saying that you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do this, even though the Beis Hamikdash is there, it means you can't go sightseeing into the area where the mosque is and all that, because you're in Makkah Beis Hamikdash there.
I don't understand what exactly.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
People who go up to Har Bayis don't go to that area.
You're not allowed to.
You're not allowed. Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Listen, just because there are people who do stuff doesn't mean that they're doing the right thing. There are
No,
those
but
who say you
that
could do it.
actually is.
Yeah,
For-
people
for-
know where
that
the-
actually
people know where the
represents-
Gevulim are. So
What?
people know where the areas where they shouldn't go. Yeah.
Right.
You understand?
But that
No?
actually represents
You're not
Makkah Beis
comfortable.
Hamikdash,
As a chayin,
even
whatever.
though there's other.
Never said not to do it, so we don't do it. That's it.
You already said that. Okay.
Also, lela'adam le'ilam ship. Okay, that's until what time are we supposed to? Are we learning officially? Huh?
You're wonderful.
I think
Whatever you want to do.
9:30. Because now we're basically starting technically a different sugya.
So you start and finish
Okay, just say them. All right.
press N.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate your answering all the
Sure,
questions.
pleasure.
Going home with me?